So right before we head into the video, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'll be doing this video in 2 parts. This is currently the beginner's video for anyone that literally just wants to buy a house. You don't know where to start, you don't know what you need to do, but you just want to say you want to buy 1 yard. This is the video for you, right? I'll be explaining everything in layman terms, like literally step by step. Anybody can understand. English and part where everybody can understand. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Hi, if you are new here, my name is Jaydah and I'll be creating content to teach you guys everything that you need to know about real estate, investing in real estate, the real estate market in Jamaica, the real estate market in the UK, and everything in between relating to real estate. But in this specific video, we'll be talking about how to buy a house in Jamaica. If you didn't know, I actually bought my first house at 23 and I did create a video talking about it on YouTube. So I actually created a series from this, which is called the First Time Buyer series, where I share my entire journey from literally fixing my finances to buying the house, to becoming an Airbnb host, to now a landlady at 23. So I really tried to share my journey on that page, but I'm not entirely happy with the way the videos came out. So now I am committed to sharing this knowledge to you guys. So the first thing that you want to think about is to assess and to fix your finances. I say assess and I say fix because they're two complete different things, right? At the point in time when I decided that I wanted to buy a house, I was actually 17 years old. I was earning a decent amount. It wasn't enough to save the world, but it was decent. And other than traveling and paying a little rent here and there in my parents' house, I wasn't doing anything significant with my money. So I thought, okay, since I have no responsibilities, no kids, no baby daddy drama, no nothing like that, let me go cop a house. Do you get what I mean? So I went to go get the house now, and I basically just went to the mortgage specialist, Jamaica National, literally the mansion, elephant and castle, and I said to him I want to buy a house. And he was like, okay, how much do you earn? Do you have any dependables? Do you have any loans out at the moment? Do you have any car loans? Do you pay rent? Do you live with your family? You live with parents? Basically, he was just asking all the questions to see if I would even be qualified to have the conversation with him. Thankfully, at 17, I was very intentional about where I wanted my life to go. So that was when I really had to sit down with myself and assess my finances to find out where my spending was going, whether I was saving, whether the money that I actually have in my accounts could afford the house that I have in my head, okay? So to fix your finances, there's a lot of things that you need to consider. First, one of the first things that you want to consider when fixing your finances is definitely if you have a good credit report. So if you don't know what a credit report is, it's simply how do you explain a credit report? So a credit report is simply just your spending and saving history so far from what you've been doing all your life, okay? So if you are a young adult and you don't currently have a credit card, I would highly suggest you getting one so you could create some form of credit report for yourself. But only do this if you are a wise spender. And if you have control over your spending habits. I wouldn't recommend you getting a credit card if you don't know how to manage the money that you have at the moment, because when you get a credit card, you're really just borrowing money from the bank that you will have to pay back. If you're not currently managing the money that you have now, I wouldn't advise you going and getting a credit card with more money to potentially put yourself in more debt, okay? If you are a responsible adult, then you will be looking to build up your credit score to at least 630 points. At the time, that was the minimum requirement that Jamaica National needed to be able to even issue a pre-qualification letter for you to be able to look at houses. I'll definitely explain what a pre-qualification letter is. Please just continue watching the video, okay? So the next thing that we need to do to buy our house is that we need to get a pre-qualification letter. So I'm going to do a detailed video on how to prepare for your pre-qualification interview, because it's quite a process from the interview to actually getting the letter. And I would have loved if someone told me about what I needed prior to it, just so I could be a bit more ready. But before I continue on to the next step, I actually wanted to emphasize that buying a house is literally not a one-stop shop. It's an entire process. And the first time, like I told you guys, the first time the idea came into my head was when I was actually 17. And funny, oh, a bitch is tongue-tied. You see how God good? I actually have proof here to show you guys that I really actually started it at 17. Well, the proof is in my phone. I'm going to put it up to show you guys that I started at 17. I went in and I told the mortgage specialist, well, it's the same person that I met when I was 17. It's the same person that finalized it when I was 23. So I met him and he was like, right, so it's quite impressive that you have the thought, but there's certain things that we need to fix. And he basically told me how I needed to build my credit score, not rather how, but he basically just highlighted the main financial things that I had to focus on in the next coming year to be able to have a pre-qualification interview. Those are the things that I just explained in the last step with finances and with getting your documents together. So once I had my first conversation with him, one of the main things that he said is that if I wanted to have a cheaper mortgage, I would have to sign up to the Jamaica NHT contribution scheme. I did this at 17. I'm going to put up a screenshot of the conversation, of the email that they sent me to confirm that I opened an account with them. So that's just to show you guys that it's a process. It's not a one-step thing. Don't feel pressured if you can't buy the house next year. Like, it took me what, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. It took me 7 years to buy the house from when I first had the initial thought. Like literally 7 years to build myself, build my credit score, save my deposit, save my closing costs. Like, everything takes time. So just be gentle and be patient in your process. But what I actually wanted to show you guys was what he wrote out for me, which was basically my financial, just a brief summary of my finances at the time. I was age 20, so basically when he told me to go to NHT, open the account, come back to him once I have NHT, come back to him once I have this set credit number, come back to him once I have my deposit saved, come back to him once I have my closing costs saved, etc, 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 etc. I actually went back to him at 20 years old. So from 17 to 20, I took my time and I sorted out my finances. I got my documents, I got my residency in the UK, I got everything that I needed to, so that when I came back to this man, him say and play me, I play like I'm really serious about the house. This is the living proof. God up above, when you can't say it's not my handwriting this. I don't know how I find this, but a couple days ago I find it, probably a week or so. This is the living proof of him writing down my finances. I was age 20 when I returned to him. This was after doing my NHT. I was earning £22,000 at the time. I wasn't paying any rent. I mean, I was contributing at home, but I didn't pay any rent. You know, my name never depend on a title, my name never depend no land, what is the name? Your landlord agreement, contract, none of that never depend. So none of that was present. So he has that as nil. What is this? This is card, I think. Card or card? I don't know what the card is, but the card is £10. I'm guessing I had some £10 to pay every month. I'm guessing that's probably a phone bill or something. And he also asked me if I had any loans out at the moment, which obviously I said no to. I didn't go to university, so the usual debt. No man, when the lighting's a off. Okay, so I didn't go to university, so the usual debt that my friends had at the time I didn't have. I didn't force myself to get a car, because like I said, at 17 was when I made a decision that, look, I'm going to buy a house. So I know that a lot of things that would, well, apart from the degree, but a lot of things that would have been a liability at the time, wouldn't have benefited me, such as taking out a car or buying designers like bags and stuff. The designer bags that I own at the moment are all gifts, and I only ever purchased myself one bag, and that was a gift to myself after I bought the house, right? After you get the pre-qualification letter, which is basically this, but in written. Like, a pre-qualification letter is a formal agreement between yourself and the bank of what you could potentially borrow. It's not set in stone, it's not an agreement, it's just a draft of what they could lend you based on your financial summary at the moment. If your financial situation changes, and mine did change because I'm gonna take out braces with my enough self, the money that you could borrow can dramatically drop, or you could literally even go to the point of not being qualified. Or if your salary increase, which mine did, they may be able to even lend you more money, or still lend you the money that they initially agreed on the pre-qualification letter. As I said before, I'll be doing a lot of these home series for you guys to help you guys to raise financial literacy in Jamaica, and to also hopefully have more Jamaican home owners. I'm so tired of seeing the foreigners there. I'm so tired of seeing only the elite or the upper class or the white people. I'm like, no, our time for own our place, yeah? So after you get your pre-qualification letter, this is basically a ticket to go ahead and start home shopping. You can start looking now at the actual houses that are in your budget, in the agreement that you have with the bank on your pre-qualification letter. It's literally a waste of time if you go and look for houses that are more than what the bank can agree to lend you, because nothing will dramatically change unless you have a new career or a new salary, or you magically win the lottery or something of that sort, right? So this is just, I'm looking for my phone. Oh yeah, this is just our time to start home shopping. Essentially, I'll be telling you guys specifically what you need to look out for when buying a house, and even more specific as to what you need to look out for when buying a house in Jamaica, because I don't know Jamaica full of the extortion them, and I don't know them full of the con artists them. So no, I don't have the boobs, so no. Make them go away. After you get your pre-qualification letter and now we find the dream home, now is the time to start assessing the property, and now is when you're going to be working with a lot of external factors outside of the bank. When you do get a pre-qualification letter from Jamaica National, they also give you a list of suggested surveyors. Liar? Did you get liar from them? No, I'm never getting a liar from them. They do give you a list of surveyors and valuators in Jamaica that are qualified and accredited and reliable with doing the job. So if you want to go with Jamaica National people, you can always ask them for a list. And even if you aren't going with them, I think it's quite wise to still ask for the list, just so you could do some cross-referencing to see if the valuator that you want to employ is on their list. Or you could always go to the Real Estate Board of Jamaica and double check to see if the person is registered, or call up. But do your extra research before you make nobody come value the property or surveys or stuff like that. While talking about valuing and surveying property, I wouldn't be completely honest if I didn't tell you guys that I'm not 100% happy with my current home, being that I don't feel like the house did build good. Like, even though it did surveyed and valued and do all the way it's supposed to do, and apparently passed the Strata Commission in Jamaica, the house don't build good. Like, go to my personal page and you will see why I said the house don't build good, but it don't build good. So be extra careful, and if there's any way of you getting a second opinion, I know it may be costly, but if there's any way of you getting another valuator or another survey or another workman or anybody who can really come in and assess the property how you're supposed to, other than the professionals, please go ahead and do so, because it will save you a lot of regret and a lot of time, okay, and a lot of money, right? So God's willing, you guys don't have the same hiccups that I do. Your one is a very smooth and straightforward process. You have a great home that is valued, surveyed properly, built good in Jamaica, that full of canards. It actually built good, yeah. The house built good now. So now it's actually time to start exchanging the fees. This is when you will report back to the bank with all of your documentation, that's your valuing of the property, that's your surveying of the property, that's your bank statements and your job letter, because being that we started the process how many months ago, this time around when the bank is actually assessing you again, they need to feel confident that you are still employed by your employee, you're still earning the money that we agreed on in the pre-qualification letter, before we actually have the formal agreement to give you a mortgaging process. So if anything changes in your circumstances, honestly, don't wait until you get to this point to let them know say change. The sooner you tell them, the better them can help you, right? Once we have all of our documentation, the next step, which for me was the most nerve-wracking part, is to actually apply for the mortgage. Let me tell you guys from now, if you are throwing NHT, make sure say you write it pay your forehead, so you throw NHT when you do the mortgage specialist or any realtor. Let them know that you are qualified for your NHT contributions and you can use it, because it will make your mortgage a lot cheaper. And that's currently one of my little mini regrets, is that I didn't actually use NHT in my process, even though I was throwing it. There was some administrative error along the process, and at the point of getting the mortgage, the money that they had quoted me wasn't included my NHT contributions, and in order to redo the whole process, I would literally have to go back from square one, from what I explained to you guys, from assessing my finances. And for me, the mental stress of it all, I was just like, right, let me just continue with what I have. So yeah, I went ahead with it. But if you are throwing it, please use your NHT if it makes sense for you to use it. Use up on the NHT, throw the contribution and use the NHT. It saves on at least 15 to 30,000 a month time. Enough money that. So once you apply for the mortgage now, this is normally done on behalf of you, so this will actually be done by the mortgage specialist. It's not like me, Derricka, will go into the head and say, oh, you want a mortgage. No, your mortgage specialist that we've been working on right throughout, the same person that give you a pre-qualification letter, the same person will tell me to sort out myself, the same person that told me to sort out myself at 17 is the exact same person that I'm doing the mortgage with. So he applied for me on my behalf. He sent it into the headquarters, and God good, we get the mortgage, I'm gonna buy the house. The last step once you agree your mortgage now is to close the deal. And I told you guys, I literally almost never get the house by this much, like by this much I never get the house, because I'm gonna take out braces and I wanna know how the bracing finances go, and then the normal money that, you understand? But the God I'm serve made the closing costs come true, and I was actually able to close the house. Like I said before, closing costs literally covers everything from your lawyer fee to your surveyor fee, not surveyor because we have paid already, but anything extra that's left, your lawyer fees, your stamp duty, your registration to get your name onto the title, if you need to pay any land tax, etc, etc. Those are the final pieces. Once you pay your closing costs, the next step is to collect the keys. Honestly, me being the naive, how old was I at the time? 22 when the actual actually closed. I was 22 at the time when it closed, and I really expected that once I paid everything, like I should have the key in my hand the next day. And in Jamaica, it's not like that. Like, we don't process things the next day. We really take our own time. We drag our foot. We talk to a friend on the way. You understand? So the last step is to actually get the key to your home. Once I got the key, no one could tell me shit. That was what I was thinking in my head. But I had another hurdle to come over, which is obviously setting up the property for AIRBNB. So if you want your home set up the property and home I get for, you know, do my little thing, little thing where? Yeah, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys learned something. If you did, please leave it down below. If I was talking too fast, please leave it below. If you understood anything, leave it below. If you didn't understand, leave it below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.